Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. Now if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 Bank Shot best bet, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Wednesday in college basketball. First up, we see Oakland and Detroit Mercy. This was to be 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN+. Now, this is a really tough spot, in my opinion, for Oakland, at least against the spread-wise, which is all we care about, as Oakland's on a 3-game win streak, and they've taken down some really tough teams along the way in Loyola Marymount and Marshall at neutral site spots, and then Xavier on the road in the last game back on Monday, an outright upset against an elite program. This is really a letdown spot now for Oakland, who has a really tough travel spot as well, only having one day off in between that game against Xavier and this one in Detroit Mercy. And while Detroit Mercy 0-6 on in the win-loss record right now looks really rough, I will say this team has played a really tough schedule. 5 of their 6 games, true road games against some tough opponents: Toledo, Cincinnati, Ole Miss, Ohio, either tournament teams from last year or just Power 5 teams, really solid mid-major programs. Detroit Mercy's played a few of those, and while some of the results weren't great on paper, I think Detroit Mercy is going to get better as the season goes on, especially in conference play. We're going to find some value, and I think in a game like this, there's certainly some value with the home team here. Only their second home game of the season. Their first home game was a close one, 76-72 final score. I do think the defense for Detroit Mercy will get better as the season goes along. I like the fact that this is a pretty disciplined team, doesn't take too many fouls. Offensively, not a too shabby shooting team. They're actually top 100 in two-point field goal percentage. So I think the offense is going to be there for Detroit in this game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than the spread suggests. I think Oakland, I really like this Oakland team going into the year. And, the spots against Xavier made sense that they would pull off an outright upset. But in a game like this, after that emotional win, I just can't get there against the number. I think Oakland wins. I think Detroit Mercy covers this big spread at home. Next up, we go to the Pit as Louisiana Tech takes on New Mexico. This one, 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, I think the Pit's one of the toughest places to play in college basketball, even amongst some of the Power 5 schools out there. New Mexico usually has a big-time home court advantage. Hasn't played at home in quite a while. It just got through with a neutral site tournament, playing Toledo, Rice, and Pepperdine, and won all those games, scoring 90-plus points, winning 92-84, 90-56, and 90-71. Some blowout final scores in those games, and I expect not a blowout here, but I do expect New Mexico to win this game and cover the number. As Louisiana Tech, while they're 5-1 this season, they're top 100 in KenPom, you do have to look at the strength of schedule. Their only road game against a tough opponent was Colorado State, and that was an outright loss by 81-73. It gave up 81 points, despite not giving up a second chance look. No offensive rebounds given up in that game from Louisiana Tech. You still give up those 81 points. Your other true road game was against Louisiana Monroe, a team ranked 288th in KenPom, so not really a battle-tested team right now. Now, New Mexico, I think, is superior on both sides of the ball. Fundamentally as well, this team does not turn the ball over much, and they force a good amount of turnovers, which can be an issue for the Bulldogs, especially on the road. New Mexico likes to speed things up. Louisiana Tech not really comfortable with that. One of the slower teams in their conference so far. I just think that the matchup, the pace of play, and the home court advantage really benefit the Lobos here. So give me New Mexico. I'm going to lay the points. Next up, we see Robert Morris taking on Northern Kentucky. This one, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN+. I think both of these teams pretty similar talent-wise on both sides of the ball, but I just think Northern Kentucky has a big-time fundamental advantage in this game, in terms, especially on the turnover side of things, where Northern Kentucky does a much better job at taking care of the basketball, and their aggressive defense forces a lot of turnovers. Robert Morris is 337th in the country in turnover percentage offensively, turning the ball over 22% of their possessions. That was a big-time problem against Jacksonville in that loss, 74-65 for the Colonials, and they turned the ball over 20 times in that game. I could see 20-plus turnovers in this game on the road. Robert Morris has played a pretty tough schedule. They played at Xavier, they played at Wisconsin. They were pretty competitive in those games. But in this spot against a Northern Kentucky team looks to speed things up offensively, a team I think is better offensively than what we've seen thus far, and a team defensively that may give up some easy buckets here and there, but forces a lot of those turnovers and should find some fast break points. I just don't think it's a really good matchup for Robert Morris. And also, Robert Morris takes a lot of fouls, and they could be shorthanded in this game as Marquise Hastings missed the last game for the Colonials. That's a big problem for a Northern Kentucky team that gets to the free throw line a ton. They could get a lot of these, Robert Morris players into foul trouble early. I'm going to take Northern Kentucky here and lay the reasonable number at home. Next up, we see Virginia Tech taking on Auburn. This one's going to be a 9:15 Eastern start time. It's going to be on ESPN2, part of that ACC-SEC challenge. Now, I do think that Auburn's defense, while Bruce Pearl defenses are really tough, I do think they're a little bit overvalued right now. They're benefiting from teams missing some pretty high percentage shots, especially from three-point land. I mean, Auburn last year had a really good three-point defense, but this year, 22.4% the opponents are shooting from three. I do think that's going to improve as the season goes on, and especially against a Virginia Tech team that's looking for a breakout performance from three, a team that was pretty solid from the perimeter last year. I think this could be the matchup that Auburn has some issues defensively. Now, on the offensive side, I think Auburn scores the ball at will. While I do think there could be honestly some value on Virginia Tech's defense going forward, this is not that matchup. Auburn, a really strong offensive team, good shooting team, but they're really strong on the offensive glass. They get to the free throw line, and they have a very strong front court that should be able to score a lot of easy buckets in this game. So with its fast pace of play, 18th in the country in average possession length, and Virginia Tech's ability, I think, to score some buckets in this one, I'm going to take the over here. We see a pretty steep total for this game, and while Virginia Tech played a good amount of low-scoring games last year and even to start this year, I think that there's value on the over in this one. So give me the over and VT Auburn. Next up, we see Eastern Washington taking on USC. This one, 11 p.m. Eastern on the Pac-12 network. I think Eastern Washington's not necessarily a live dog in this game, but I just think this is a case of way too many points. USC has only won a game by more than this spread once this season, and that was against Cal State Bakersfield, 313th in Kent Bomb, one of the weaker teams in college basketball. Eastern Washington is battle-tested. They played 6 games against Power 5 teams all on the road. So sure, that 1-6 record looks rough on paper, and it looks even worse when you take out the subdivision games, because that was their only win was against a subdivision team. But EWU, I think, is better on both sides of the court than what we've seen thus far. They're battle-tested, like I said. USC is one of the younger teams. While they're really talented, their lack of experience has showed up in a few games this season, including that upset loss to UC Irvine. I think USC wins this game and probably wins it pretty comfortably, but this is just way too many points to be given up to an Eastern Washington program that's competed against some of these tough Pac-12 teams in recent years. Give me the points here with Eastern Washington and the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Wednesday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.